Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for October 22nd. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and I'm here today to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 25 live feeds. It was day 81 in the house, and I am still in a hotel room in Vegas, but look, what are you going to do? With me to talk about yesterday on the feeds is Scally. How you doing, Scally?
Oh, hello, Taryn. I was gonna say I love what you've done with the place, but nice to know. I'm good. I'm excited to break down this day's events, day 81. The end's in sight now. That's that is my motivation here.
Yeah, not a great hotel, let me tell you.
Hmm.
It was very much availability and location based, and
Yeah, I don't
kind of
know.
a nightmare.
Those carpets, those drapes, they look great.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, okay, we're not here to talk about my hotel room. We're here to talk about yesterday on the feeds, and there's a lot that happened. We had a veto competition. We had all kinds of shenanigans going on. So let's get into it. Of course, Jag is the HOH. He nominated Blue and America on day 80, and the target is Blue. But this is important. Jag only told everybody in the house except for Felicia and Blue, and so he expects that Felicia and Blue will not know that Blue is the target. So Reed, though, did at the end of day 80 talk to Felicia, hinting at the fact that Blue might be the target, saying, why would Blue be nominated if she wasn't the target? Trying not to say, I know that Blue is the target, just trying to get Felicia to comprehend that obviously Blue is the target. Had some trouble, but was hinting at that. Another important piece of information from yesterday is that America talked to Suri and Felicia and told them that that Blue had gone after her because she warned Blue that they were targeting her, and that they wished that or that she wished that Corey's plan to turn Bowie against Matt and Jag would have worked. And they looked at Felicia, and Felicia was like, what do you want me to do? And Felicia came up with this other plan, this other lie to potentially try to convince Bowie that, that try to convince Jag that that Bowie is trying to make an all-girls alliance. So that was all. It all was come up with the night before, day 80.
Yeah, they're doing their best. They're trying to get their plans together. I mean, if you can't win a competition, maybe you got to use what you got. Beat them with this.
Yes. So we get into day 81, and Suri is not picked to play in the veto, which means that she has never been picked to play in the veto. Has only played in technically 3 vetoes because of the weird veto rules from last week, where everybody played in 2 vetoes except for Jag, who played in 1 because he won the first one, and the other veto that she was playing in because she was nominated. But otherwise, her thing was never picked. Her chip was
Yep.
never picked, which is wild.
I was waiting for them last week to be like, everyone gets to play except for Suri for no reason. No, we're just not letting her. It's not the visible HOH. It's just why.
Yeah, I haven't done the math myself because I'm in a hotel room, but I was told that it's like 3% odds that this happens.
Honestly, higher than I would think.
That sounds higher than I would think as well, to be honest, because then there's that other thing about like how, statistically unlikely things are still likely to happen. So if
Mm-hmm.
there's a bunch of things that are 3%, then one of them's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, Suri's not playing. And there are a couple of conversations that happened before the veto, not seemingly not important ones, but I tried to do some detective work here. Suri has a pretty generic conversation with Bowie in the morning in the comic room, just about the game moving forward, nothing wild or out of the ordinary. but they have one. There's a lot of planning going around in case it's a stay or fold comp. If you've been wondering about this, they've been planning for this competition for roughly 2 months. And so Jag is going to go around and make sure everybody knows the plan if it's a stay and fold comp, and how they're going to make sure that blue doesn't win, essentially. But of course, this is a little bit concerning to Suri, who is, I think, concerned that blue is going to go along with a stay and fold comp plan that includes her not winning the veto. So she has a conversation with Blue and Felicia where they're talking about the idea that, hey, wouldn't it be great if we could get Bowie on the block? And Suri mentions to Blue in front of Felicia, hey, Blue, you go and win that veto so Jag can put her up. And she has a couple more conversations with Blue where she reiterates a few times, like, man, wouldn't it be great if you won that veto? I'd really like you to win that veto.
Yeah, the new meta is if the HOH is not telling you about how you're going to do the stay or fold comp, then you are the target that week. Like, that is what you should look out for. So, it is become just docked to death. I think that the idea of trying to, if it's anything else and we can covertly throw it to blue is very interesting.
So we get to the veto competition, and when the feeds come back from the veto competition, you'll never guess who won the competition.
There are 5 other people competing. Surely, just eventually.
Well, here, let me tell you, it was a competition that involved sprinting and some kind of mental component. So who do you think won a hybrid physical mental comp? I'll give the chat some time. It was Jag.
Oh, it was. That is 5 comps in a row for Jag because of how he has been allowed to compete. Man has been undefeated for the last 5 comps. That is absolutely wild.
Yep. And like what were it was what was it? Otev?
Otev, the spinning disc,
Spinning discs, BB Comics, whatever this was, and one more.
Yeah, I'm blanking. I mean, it's interesting that basically 2 weeks ago it was like Jag has won 1 competition, and now it's like, is he gonna beat Janelle and Michael's record? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah. My point was almost all of them were the same kinds of comps. Yeah, I guess the HOH, Johnny Mac one that we haven't seen yet. Yeah, every single one of those is a physical mental combo comp. That like these are the kinds of things that were Jackson's bread and butter. Like they just do the same competitions over and over. It's not a surprise that we keep getting the same result, but who am I? So Jag has won the veto. Now, there's some important stuff to talk about because apparently prior to the veto, Felicia went to Jag, and he tells Matt this after the veto, and Felicia told Jag that Suri told Blue that she was the target. What? What is Felicia talking about? Well, I think she's talking about, because Jag later explains that Felicia was telling Blue that she needs to win the veto, that Felicia is taking the conversation that Suri had with Blue, telling her, wouldn't it be great if you won the veto so we could get Bowie on the block, and twisting that into Suri has told Blue that she's the target. Now, the reason I say twisted is because very clearly Blue does not think she's the target. Suri never told Blue that she was the target. Blue does not believe that she's the target. So Felicia is either intentionally misinterpreting this or just genuinely misinterpreted it. But Felicia is telling Jag that Suri is doing this. Why is Felicia telling Jag that she's doing this? Well, she later talks to Matt and tells him that Suri talked to Bowie today and might have said some things about Felicia and a girls' alliance. But Felicia doesn't want to get in trouble for things. She always is the one that gets in trouble for things. It's Cirie that has doubts in the Final Four. So with that explanation in mind, my theory is, because this is something that people don't seem to know because it's a very confusing set of events. My theory is that Felicia, in the presence of America and Cirie the night before, came up with this dastardly plan to lie to Jag about Bowie and a girls' alliance. And she said it wasn't really a lie because Bowie did talk about it a couple weeks ago, but it was essentially a plan to lie to Jag about this. I think then Felicia may have seen Cirie have this conversation with Bowie early in the morning. That was a very generic conversation, and either assumed or somehow was misled by her own brain into thinking that Cirie ratted her out with the plan. The thing that she did with Corey, I think she got concerned that Cirie did it with her, and that Cirie ratted her plan out to Bowie. And so she wanted to get ahead of this, didn't want to be the fall guy, and ran to Jag to dump everything that she had on Cirie so that she wasn't the one that got in trouble for it, except there was nothing to get in trouble for because, of course, Cirie didn't do that. That is my leading theory at the moment, given what Felicia has said.
It's really tough where, I mean, the culture of this house all season has been like rat someone out before you get ratted out yourself. And at first I was willing to just like write that off to this. There's like, you know, someone's bound to speak, whether it be Blue, Bowie, Cirie herself ratting us all out, like who knows? So let me get ahead of this. But then I don't know. I feel like Felicia woke up one day to Cirie being a mastermind and just has refused to go back to sleep at any point. Has just like not gotten out of her mind. Where like if someone is basically the only person who's willing to work very close with you and is a similar comp ability to you and like you know et cetera et cetera et cetera, like let's just like maybe target them later, question mark. Like that seems like a reasonable plan.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, we found out about this after the veto had been played, but she did it before the veto had been played. And so it took me a second to realize like just how terrible a move this was, because Matt and Jag were on the verge of, Jag in particular, of making the massive, potentially game-changing mistake of nominating Bowie as the replacement for somebody like Blue or America coming off the block. And that's because they really trusted that the votes were there. And apparently, I believe Blue came in second place in this veto, almost won it. If Blue had won this veto, if Felicia hadn't said anything, there's a very real chance that Bowie goes on the block. They are able to flip the tables on Matt and Jag, send Bowie out this week, and it's an entirely new game, except for the fact that pre-veto, Felicia freaked out and warned Jag that he didn't have Cirie. And so because of that, there was no shot. Even if Blue had won this veto, there's no chance Jag would have ever nominated Bowie because of what Felicia was doing there. And of course, Felicia's entire goal this week was to get Bowie on the block in the first place, which she completely undermined with her work last week and with what she's doing here. Yeah, just unbelievably bad decision making. It would have been one thing if she had waited until after the veto and then maybe made a move like this. But I don't think that this is a move. I think that this is just her trying to get out of imagined trouble. And B, she didn't do that. She did it pre-veto.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is if this was post veto, because right now, as it stands, or at least pre this conversation, I would say that Cirie and Felicia go on the block. Basically, almost every scenario, Felicia goes home. And if she is trying to set it up so that if that scenario happens in the future, that people are reminded that Cirie is the bigger threat here, then like, okay, I see some value in this. The problem was with it being before the veto ceremony happens, let alone the veto itself.
Yeah. So that's my explanation from a hotel room in Vegas. I think it's the best explanation we have at the moment, though. Jag talks to Matt. He tells him about how Cirie has done this. Matt's initial response is like, that sounds like something Felicia would do, not something Cirie would do. And Jag says, but it was Cirie. Cirie's the one that said it, so we can't trust Cirie anymore. Maybe honestly, maybe we keep America over Cirie at this point. But America's also being annoying because she assumed that Bowie knew that she was staying, even though I told her not to tell anyone that she wasn't the target. Hopefully, she hasn't done any to that with anyone other than Blue or other than Bowie. Um, but I don't know. I still think maybe we work with America. Maybe we replace Suri with America. Notice not Felicia.
Mm-hmm.
America. Now we just need to find a way to convince Felicia that we haven't been lying to her about Blue being the target, because what she's telling me is that Suri is paranoid and believes that Blue is the target and is telling Blue that she's the target, but Blue's not the target. That's what we've told Felicia. So now when we tell Felicia that Blue really is the target, she's going to know that we were lying to her. So we need to come up with now a whole plan to explain why the target has changed to Blue, to explain to Felicia. And Matt's like, oh god, this is so confusing. And Jackson's like, oh, we just need to win HOH again. No easy weeks for us.
Not one, no, not the last 5 or anything. So yeah, it is tough. I mean, look, lots of players overcomplicate things in the house. I think Jag is one of the guiltiest of this, but I don't know. I mean, look, we have high expectations of Matt in these comps. It's not really played out, and I don't feel like we've been given an indication that he's been throwing lately. So maybe we're overestimating that, and with Jag not competing going into this double, I don't know. Maybe there's a chance that this doesn't, they don't comp out right here. But there's still the veto. So for Jag, yeah, we got to win. But Ken Matt.
Yeah, I just can't believe he had the gall to say no easy weeks. He said
Mm-hmm.
the easiest ride of all time on Big Brother.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Matt talks to Felicia. She gives him the anti-Suri pitch. She says Suri isn't down with our final 4. She says that Suri thinks Jag is the new Cameron and she wants Jag out. But I know there's no way to do that. And she says, I'm nervous that Suri told Bowie something I said about an all-girls alliance. And she told Blue that she was the target. She said to Blue that she needs to win the veto because she's the target. She says, I'm saying something now because everyone always thinks it's me and that does this stuff, and I want you guys to know I'm with you. And so, of course, Matt is like, whoa, what? But that was, I think, a huge clue to why Felicia did this to me. That's why my theory exists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, she's been running around, before the veto, after the veto, just banging the same drum. So it's getting through people's heads alone, but
Yeah.
remains to be seen.
So Matt, of course, goes back to Jag about it. They're just very surprised that Suri is doing all of this. Matt does wonder, though, if Suri told Blue that she's the target, why is Blue really happy that you won, Jag? Like, why is Blue completely unconcerned about the fact that she lost this veto and she's the target? She's still coming up to us, like, excited about how America's leaving. Like, Blue is not good at hiding things. There's no way she believes that she's the target. But Jag is like, but there's no way Felicia would just make that up out of nowhere. It must be true. So there's a little bit of cognitive dissonance going on that may or may not be resolved at some point, because Blue, as we've said, clearly doesn't think that she's the target right now, still doesn't. And how they rectify that in their brains, Jag in particular, is going to be the question moving forward into today. But for now, he believes that it would just, I mean, why would Felicia make that up? It's a very weird thing to make up. On top of the fact that, like, how else would Felicia know that Blue was the target in the first place? Like, why would Felicia make up that Suri is saying this when he knows Suri does know that? So there's a lot of, like, pieces here, but the end result is that Jag says again, we should just work with America instead of Suri now.
Yeah, I think it's less about Blue not acting weird and more about Blue being like, can you believe all these guys are trying to convince me that I'm the target? Like, I trust you. Don't worry about it. Like, I don't think that, like, the entire house could go to her. And I think that she's still going to believe Jag and Matt at this point. So I think that's more of the dead giveaway, is that she's not telling them what they're doing. And so maybe, probably factor that in. But yeah, it's wild. America is so messy. I have said for a while, like, America stands, good luck. I don't know how you do it, because it is just a real roller coaster over there. But people just have kind of accepted that she's messy, and they're like, well, at least we know. Like, at least we can just work with this.
Mm. Well, Felicia gives the same rundown to Jag again. And they talk to Bowie. They explain it to Bowie, who is also confused. Like, this doesn't sound like something Suri would do. It doesn't seem like Blue knows, so on and so forth. But ultimately, they accept it for what it is. Felicia has a conversation with Suri that I think is an example of Suri's current state of mind. Felicia's like, Suri, you really think they're targeting Blue? You really think so? She's like, I don't know. Felicia's like, I don't think so. She's like, come on, Felicia. There's no reason for Blue to be on the block right now if she's not the target. I mean, come on. And Felicia's like, I think he's just trying to manage the jury. I think he's just trying to manage the jury. And she's like, all right, we'll see. We'll see what happens. And Felicia, when he asks you to flip the vote, I'm going to say, Felicia, shut the F up. I'm going to say it just like that. All right? So let's wait and see.
And I hope she does, because I would like that sound clip. But, like, that's what I want. I want another one of those clips. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch play out. I think she has a clock. She is just like, let me sit back, bide my time. That's the move.
Suri is just surrounded with nonsense. But I mean, here's the thing too. Like, I think ultimately we have to say, like, trying to work this with Felicia, trying to give Felicia this heads up in the first place was probably a mistake. Even getting into this little tiff with Felicia reminds me a little bit of like some of Corey's mistakes, where like she just sometimes can't help but like correct people that are just so obviously wrong. And in this spot, like, Suri's been doing a good job of it with Blue. But I think Felicia's been so back and forth that she's just like, Felicia, please, you cannot believe that Blue is not the target here. Come on. On top of that, Felicia or Suri would prefer for Blue to be the one to stay. But at this point, there's not a lot that she can do to make that happen. So that's honestly most of the day. Jag, Bowie, and Matt continue to talk about Suri. They talk about how they want to work with America now. Jag wants to make that deal with America about her not targeting him. He thinks she might actually stick to it. So, hey, not bad.
Yeah, not bad. Let's go ahead and convince them of that. That would be nice. That would be nice. But yeah, I hope that we don't stick to that. We'll see.
But for now, the plan is still to take out Blue. And Jag's plan to bring it to Felicia is to say, well, we initially put her on the block because we wanted her to beat America in the veto competition, but she's been saying a lot of things, She's and as she thinks she's the target, she's getting paranoid. And now we just feel like now she probably needs to go. And Felicia will probably be like, oh wow, yeah, good reasons.
Yes, good reasons, definitely. Felicia. Yeah, it's been a tough day.
So the plan moving forward, Blue is the one to be evicted. The next target at this point now is as we head into the final 6, looking like Felicia and Suri are now the targets moving into next week, instead of it being America as they want to work. So, I mean, again, great job, Felicia. So Felicia and Suri, the next targets in the double eviction if they are able to. And then the idea is to bring America into the final 4 with Bowie. As of right now, that might change back. Again, there's also the fact that, like, what does Suri do when she finds out that this has happened? If she finds out, does she find out because Matt or because Blue continues to make it obvious that she doesn't know that she's the target? At which point they maybe go to Suri and be like, so have you talked to Blue? That's the big stuff left for, honestly, the week. It seems still unlikely that the vote would change. If anything, America is in a better position than she was at the start of the week because of what Felicia did. So that's good. However, America has been, talking to Jag. They've been talking about, like, should they blindside Blue? When should they tell Blue? And there is a plan to tell Blue about the fact that she's the target, which is a bad idea for America, because it just gives Blue the opportunity to change the current plan. But so that if they do tell Blue at some point, then that could theoretically change things as well. But it doesn't seem super likely at this point.
I'm very curious for the post veto ceremony feeds. Like, I want to know, like, when people start waking up, people start feeling a little more comfortable. Okay, they're not going on the block this week. What do we do then? Because I think Suri can probably fix her situation, especially if she figures out what's going on and start playing a little more actively. If America stops laying as low, does she then get herself into trouble? It's possible, especially with telling Blue. So that is where my current focus is at.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, anything else you want to bring up, Scally?
No, I feel like, a pretty routine week, even if Jag is trying to make it a little complicated.
Well, Scally, no easy weeks.
Can't have them.
Not when you're winning 5 comps in a row. All right. Thank you all so much for joining us then. I will, of course, I'll be back tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, to update you on everything that happens today on the Big Brother 25 live feeds. I probably will not be streaming tonight's episode, as I, am a bit preoccupied. But who knows? You never know. You should just go to twitch.tv/Taran Armstrong anyway. And if you follow me there, then you'll be notified if I do go live. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram and all of those things if you want to do that. And of course, there will be a podcast after tonight's episode, regardless. And tomorrow we're going to do the stock watch, which will be interesting. So make sure you're checking that out. Scally, where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter at Brian_Scally, on Twitch at twitch.tv/bscally. Myself and Matt Ligori are going to continue to cover the challenge moving forward. But for the challenge 39, we have started our own podcast feed called the Free Agents Podcast. If you search Free Agents Challenge, it should pop up pretty easily. And so that should be a ton of fun. Had a little more time to devote to that. So figured, let's go ahead and move the feed over. And then I am also covering this season of the Traitors Canada with Puya live after the episodes, as well as exit interviews the next day, which has been awesome, and finishing up the Devil's Plan coverage with Chappelle, sometime in the next week. So, keep an eye out for that as well.
All right. Well, thank you all once again for joining me here today, and I will see all of you next time.